Intern Spotlight. A marketing intern is a listener who's spreading our message authentically. Hear their story, their passion, and their journey. Enjoy.
You know what Brooke's like is or no?
I don't.
Okay, her husband, he played in the show for Washington for a couple of years. He's from Canada too.
Okay.
Yeah, they're dating.
Wait, did you just call the show that's like the NHL team?
Yeah, NHL's the show.
Oh,
Big fan of that.
wow.
That's good lingo.
That's fun.
The show?
Yeah.
The show, I've never heard it called.
Really?
In America, baseball's the show. Like the video game.
Yeah, dude,
the
I
show.
don't know the first thing about baseball. I know you guys got a sweet old bat because it looks weathered on your deck.
Oh,
That's
no,
about it.
No, dude. Do not get confused about that old ass Louisville Slugger on our old ass couch.
That showed up
Out of nowhere.
in our front lawn about a week ago.
Yeah.
So we don't know
It's like
where
a
that's
threat.
been.
Might
Yeah.
be a threat.
No, I think someone's like grabbed.
Some sort of a sign.
Yeah,
Like, you
hold
gotta
this
take
on
this.
because we're coming and you're gonna need a weapon. I think that was kind of. And then they left it on a MTV hat that had some gross stains on there. I don't really want to know where they came from.
Yeah, it was like one of these. It was like a dad hat.
Dad hat?
And it was like vintage MTV logo, which I was like, dude, I'd totally wear that if it didn't have like
Weird stains.
and, mysterious things on it. That also showed up at our doorstep within the same 24 hours as this Louisville Slugger. And, Jack Burke, our roommate, I know you don't know him, but he's a very good kid. And he saw, he took the bat and picked the hat up with the bat and then put it over to the side. So, Jack is very pro housekeeping. So
Okay.
he is our...
Neat and tidy.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
He's kind of our porch manager, I'd say. He got promoted last year. He was doing chimney work for a while at this house. We put him on that. He was kind of last guy in, Yeah, we all took like dishes, vacuuming, but we
Rookie duties.
Yeah, rookie
Rookie
duties.
duties. That's all that is.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Earn
So he earned his
your
keep.
keep.
He earned
Yes.
his keep, and now
For sure.
he's running the he's managing the porch and doing great at it. So,
Oh,
anyways,
great.
welcome Brandt Weldon to the Backpocket podcast. How you doing today, dude?
I'm so excited to be here. I was super amped when you guys threw me the DM, so I was excited.
You can thank Andrea Toppin right there. She challenged us in, I believe, April?
March or April.
March or April.
Third lines at this
An early marketing intern spotlight of 2019. And she's like, you got to have Brandt on. And we're like, all right. Look, challenge accepted. And lo and behold, 4 or 5 months later, you're on our show.
Right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Andrew's a cool girl. She we go to school together, obviously. So yeah, spent a lot of time with her in class and whatever else over the last couple of years.
Have you ever got on like a run with her?
Absolutely never.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan of the running.
Just in general.
Just running just doesn't work for me.
Okay.
She I'll get a snap from her and it's like, where were you? I just did 13 miles. Like that could severely put me down for a week.
Longer for me.
Yeah, oh no, I had an easy day I did a light week this week. I only did 80 miles. I didn't even drive 80 miles in my car this week. It's just unheard of stuff, but she's amazing. Amazing girl. I can't believe she manages what she's doing with Chiro School. Like, that's next level. I don't know how she's doing it. There's something to be said about that because there's no way I could do what she's doing. She's next level. She's awesome.
Got the trials coming up, right?
Yeah, that's in Atlanta.
2020?
2020.
Kind of the beginning of 2020?
April? Maybe?
April. That's kind of the beginning.
Somewhere-ish.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sounds about right.
I know she's pretty much famous. That's all.
Yeah, no, she's
She's a big deal.
She is a big deal.
Yes.
When she's
exactly.
throwing out all those sponsors and stuff too, and how much she loves that product, I was like, dude, that's sick.
Yeah.
That's lit.
There's more than one company that she's
I know.
repping too.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
She's influencing.
Yeah, she's an influencer. Andrea's an influencer.
Yeah.
She is.
Similar to yourself. Don't sell yourself short now.
Yeah.
I try and influence when I can, but I mean, you guys influence me. You guys are just doing your thing up here. It's unreal.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know what's funny is when there is kind of a blurred lines between Andrea, which was like in April, and then you coming on in September. I know you're probably like, geez, these guys took 5 months to hit us up. Like, we did not have 5 months of guests lined up before you. I will be honest. But we had Craig on. And when we had Craig on, someone was telling us this, and I don't know why, but this is what literally made me hit you up. GoPro's off. He was like, oh, dude, Brandt was wondering when he was going to get on when he saw the DM from Backpocket. And I was like, dude, I remember this Brandt kid from somewhere. Like, a couple people have said, get Brandt on the podcast. So I was like, okay, Craig, like, you know what? I got you on because you have the best Canadian accent of all time, and that's literally why I wanted you to come on. Kid provided value, absolutely. But I was like, all right, Brandt's the next Cairo up, and here we are.
I'm honored, to be honest. There's a lot of hype around this. Like, I just had an average day at school today, but this is all I could think about.
Yeah.
Tonight, I gotta be on my game. I gotta be ready. I don't know what they're gonna throw at me. Like,
Did you see the questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys give me we asked 5 questions. It was like 2 questions, and then unpack your story is all I saw there, and I was like, wow, that's a lot of unpacking to do. Like, we can try. Like, we can get it done. I don't know.
Yeah. Unpacking has become our favorite word. We unpack everything at this point.
We need to start diving in, though. We can't. Unpack is almost too much now. We've done it too many times. It's become like our thing.
Yeah.
Which how do you feel about the word unpack? Is that kind of intimidating from a guy who is asked to unpack his story?
No, it's a good word because
Okay.
it leaves it open ended. Like, if I want to unpack the whole suitcase, I can. But some people, they get to a hotel and they live out of the suitcase and they only unpack the important items. It leaves it up to me and what I want to talk about or what I'm going to, display to the public. So,
That's a great point, and I love that analogy. That is money. All right, so let's start unpacking.
What do we start with? It's always the bathroom bag. Like, you run into the hotel, you grab the suitcase, and you throw the bathroom bag in the bathroom.
That was exactly what I was going to say. So, Brandt, what would be your bathroom bag? What would be that first thing that you want to unpack?
What's in your toiletries? What are your vitals?
I mean,
How
I know
many
you brought
ounces
your
are you traveling
toothpaste.
with this? Yeah.
I don't know. No. I mean,
This is a hard question to
it
answer.
definitely is. But, no, I'm a small town guy. Live off that, born and raised, and that's one of the important things to me, I guess. That's if you want to start there.
Small town Canada. Yeah.
Small town Canada, played hockey. Does it get any more textbook than that? Not really.
If you couldn't tell already, Jesus Christ. So Canadian.
I've lived down here for 7 years now. So, the accent is kind of gone. It used
It's
to be.
gone?
It used to be a lot worse.
Let's say it's faded.
It's faded.
Mm-hmm.
Faded.
It's got
sure.
a weather touch.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 years you've been down here.
Yeah, this is my 7th year I've spent down in the U.S.
Okay. How do you like it so far? 7 years is a good, feel for America, right?
Yeah.
You're not young anymore, you're not old.
It was interesting, definitely. Moving down here was actually a pretty cool experience. Obviously, we have university in Canada and stuff, but everyone rants and raves about the U.S. college experience. So, coming out of hockey, that was something I definitely wanted to take advantage of, and it definitely paid off. It was next level. It's hard to explain to people back home what it's like down here, the pride and stuff that you guys rep for your schools and whatnot. There's St. Thomas stuff all over your house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at home we don't see that pride and joy for your school and the rivalries.
Mm-hmm.
Those don't exist. So it was coming down here to play hockey was a more amped up experience from what I could see, I guess, on the outside looking in before entering, and that was definitely the case. Even just D3 hockey was still a great time. So
Yeah.
So did you flirt around with the idea of juniors, or?
I did.
Okay.
I actually played 3 years of junior hockey.
Okay.
So I did my high school, finished that up, and then played 3 years of junior hockey in Northern Canada in Flin Flon. And then I got offered a position on a team down here in Manitoba, Wisconsin, just outside Milwaukee for Concordia University-Wisconsin, and came down, did my 4 years, and then decided that I wasn't done with school and ended up here. So
Nice. So, first question is, what was the place you played juniors at, you said? Start with that.
Flin Flon.
Flin Flon. That's... So, yeah, definitely.
Look up, when you get a chance, look up Flintabaddy Floniton.
Ty,
You're the lookup guy.
Ty, we need you, dude.
I was just
Don't
so shocked.
stare at him.
I was just so shocked. Flin Flon, that's when you make up a city name, you're I don't know, Flin Flon, Canada, or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great point. I was also going to ask, how close are you to the North Pole at that point when you say Northern Canada?
Okay, so if you drive 4 hours from my place and you hop on a train, which trains don't go very fast,
Uh-huh.
and you ride on the train for 24 hours, you hit the polar bear capital of the world.
Whoa. So that's a good 2 days worth of travel to get there.
To get to my house, I can do it in one day. It's a 12, 13-hour drive.
From here.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
So we're pretty far out there.
Yeah, and what's crazy is you're not going west at all. You're not going east at all when you're heading those 12 hours. You're going straight north.
Yeah, it took me about 2 drives to get it memorized. It's 3 turns and I'm at I'm at home.
You're kidding.
I'm not kidding. You drive from here to Grand Forks and you just keep driving till you hit Winnipeg and then keep going straight. Eventually you take one left turn, one right turn, and you run into my town. Like, it's
That's beautiful.
pretty straight.
So what's it like being from a small town in Canada? Like, are there very distinct cultural things that you noticed when you came to America? You're like, oh, we never did this, or this is totally different.
I mean, in America in general, you guys wear your shoes in the house way too often. Like, if I walked into my house at home with my shoes on past the door, something would come flying at me. Frying pan, who knows? Like, Mom would kill me. Like, I don't know. That's just like, there's like little things. Some of the words you guys say, like, some in Wisconsin they call it a bubbler. It's a water fountain.
It's a water fountain.
Yeah, like a crayon they call it a crayon.
A crayon.
A crayon.
It's a crayon, dude. Like, there's a Y in there. Or root beer.
Root beer. Ugh.
Like, it's
Root beer.
It's root beer.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not a butt. It's a boot. So why is it root? It's a root. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There's little things, but like for the most part, like it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. There's certain aspects obviously that are different, but for the most part, it's not like a total cultural shift.
Sure.
So it's pretty easy to like adapt to, I guess, in a way.
Absolutely. Ty, you have anything on
Update
it?
on Flin Flon.
Yeah, how do you say what I'm looking at is?
Flintabady Flanagan?
Flintabady Flanagan. It looks like I can't find much like literature on it, but it looks like their version of like Paul Bunyan. So here, I'll just show you a picture. It's like just this big
Oh yeah.
That's a
statue
real life thing?
of a man.
So it kind of looks a little bit Charlie Brown-esque,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but more
It's a big statue.
Paul Bunyan twist to it.
Right.
Yeah, like he has, it's exactly that, but like he has to chop down trees in order to get to where he needs to go.
Yeah. And
Like
like,
it's
instead
a
of
survival thing.
the part I
Pretty
did find was instead of like chopping down trees, it's Flin Flon's a mining city.
Yeah, they actually,
So
like, the road from my house to Flin Flon is in, like, an hour and a bit. And they actually had to, like, blow the rock out of the road, blow the rocks out of the way to make the road. So they blew up the rocks and then made, like, bridges and stuff out of that to, like, keep going north.
Yeah.
So when you say an hour and a bit, is a bit like 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or is
I
a bit
picked up
like
on that.
35 minutes.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Declan does bits, but they're usually like 2 minutes, 2-3 minutes long.
Yeah.
You know, stand-up comedy.
Yeah, that's all I get. That's all they'll give me at this point.
Declan does bits. I love his bits, though. The Google bit was money. That is, like, I've showed that to multiple people, I will have you know.
Hell yeah.
I've shared that with everyone. It's unreal. That is one of the funnier things. I was actually like getting the gut laugh going for that joke, dude. I was fired up.
No, that makes me happy. I love that.
Like,
I love hearing the
like
feedback.
Declan, they're not they're snacks, dude. Come on. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Oh, that's awesome.
So-
You know what's funny about that video? It has nothing really to do with the joke, but I posted that video on Instagram and I posted that video on LinkedIn. I have like 700 views-ish on my Instagram, more 5,000 views on LinkedIn. I have people coming up to me and were like, dude, I didn't know you did comedy. I saw you posted on LinkedIn. I was like, that sentence alone is hilarious. You guys are getting duped by your own social media. Like, I'm putting out stuff that is entirely not LinkedIn worthy,
And it's winning.
and it's winning.
Yeah.
LinkedIn's like, yeah, dude, we'll throw him some love into the algorithm because he's posting jokes. Like, sure,
It'll work.
it'll work.
The people don't know what they want to see until they see it, and then all of a sudden it's viral.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great point.
Like, we don't know what we want to see, and then we see some ridiculous meme, and all of a sudden it's on everything that you can turn around at that day. It's everywhere.
And everyone knows it.
Yes, exactly. Everyone's talking about it for like 2 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we don't know what we want to see again, and then all of a sudden something comes up. Who knows from where? And then we're staring at it, constantly talking about it for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a question off that. What's one thing that you've done that a lot of people are talking about and have seen something like, okay, that was sick?
Wow. I don't know. Through like freshman year of college, I really came out with a bang. Wasn't really.
Everyone can relate to that right there.
I
I came out with a bang. First
100%.
semester freshman year.
Especially you come down here. I mean, come down from Canada, and it's like I go to the gas station, it's like $17 for 30 Bud Light. You're like, whoa. All right, now what?
Big price difference, right? Because it's a
30
very
30
expensive.
Bud Light at home, like
Yeah.
$52.
Oh,
Holy smokes.
Like no college kid could drink ever.
No.
It's so hard. But no, my first game in college, actually, some kid said some things I didn't quite like, speared me a little bit with his stick, so I just ripped his helmet off and threw it kind of at the crowd. And after that, most people knew who I was. Between that and a few pretty greasy mustaches I've rocked throughout the years, I mean, most people kind
There it
of,
is.
they could talk about those things, I guess. That was a lot.
That's a great answer on the spot. Very impressive. Yes. So, what kind of a hockey player would you say you were? Were you kind of like the guy who was fighting a lot, or was this just a bang freshman year type thing?
I was a little bit all over the map. Like,
Okay.
I definitely liked, the shoot, score, passing, the puck, all that kind of, that game. That
Mhm.
part of the game was always fun for me, but I've always been a big body, so never afraid to throw it around. It's always been fun. I mean, like, any hockey player, you end up in a few fights just because of, you go lay someone out, well, you got to pay the price for that. You're going to end up in a fight. But, I don't know, I always enjoyed the hype of it all. Like, whether it was scoring a goal or, a big hit, lay somebody out, whatever it is, the hype of, like, the crowd or the team getting out, like, the hype was the part that I loved. So,
Yeah.
I mean, anything for that was good.
That's money. You know what's so funny is you like throwing your body in there. Like my dad used to tell me, and like I'm sure a lot of people's dad or coaches would say, sacrifice your body.
Oh, always.
Stick your nose in
Stick your nose in it. Sacrifice your body. Like I don't know if we could say that anymore. Are we allowed to coach kids and say,
Absolutely not.
well, Will, I want you to go out
wait,
there
right?
and I want you
No
to
way.
stuff the full. Like I want you to just sacrifice your body for the fullback so the Will can make the play.
Yeah.
I mean that's
And-
coaching, but you can't say sacrifice your body.
And that's how I reacted every time. When I knew that I had to take on the lead blocker, you're sacrificing your body. That was my mental mindset. And I don't know if you can say that. I think you're right. I
These
do.
days,
No,
No.
too soft.
like, in hockey, it's a little different in hockey, but, like,
Okay.
they would say, like, my dad would always tell me, if you go in like you're scared, you're going to get hurt. So just don't be scared and go run someone over.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 weeks ago, I was at a barbecue. I told this kid, my girlfriend, her little cousin is like 10, 12 years old, who's starting to get into like the hitting. They teach you how, right?
Yeah.
So she looks at me and she's like, what would you tell him? And I was just like, you know what? Honestly, don't be scared. Like if you act scared, you're going to get hurt. So just go in there and run somebody over. And she was like, oh my God. I don't know if I want to talk to you anymore. It's like, I mean, that was kind of standard back in the
That's
day.
the
but
baseline.
I mean, I did play juniors hockey and
I feel like-
Division III gone.
I feel like saying like, oh, back in the day, it makes me feel old, but it's just like escalated so quickly. Like, I know you need to be safe, and I know people get hurt and whatever, but it's like you signed up for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a part of the game. Don't change the game. Just change who's signing up. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I like that kind of.
I enjoy that. Like with football, like if they took hitting out of the NFL and it was flag football, no one would watch.
Yeah, so 10%.
Right? Like
Yeah.
you live for the like you're watching your TV on Sunday and you hear two helmets absolutely crunch. You look. You like, oh, something big happened. I heard that through my TV.
Mhm.
You know that
I
something went
felt
down.
that
Yes.
through my TV.
So
Yes.
you're like, all right, replay, watch this,
Mm-hmm.
and you see it. But if that wasn't happening, what are we looking
What are we doing
for?
here?
Yeah.
Ty, you're a Pee Wee coach. Has there been things that you've been taught?
Baseball, first of all.
Oh, it is baseball.
I mean, we do teach a get your nose in it kind of mentality on the baseball field.
Yeah,
I was gonna say when I played football, I had a coach tell me that when you get in a car crash, there's a car that's going 80 and there's a car that's going 20, and the car that's going 80
wins.
wins. Like the car that's going 20 is going to feel it more than the car that's going 80. So you better be the car that's going 80 miles an hour.
Mhm.
And in baseball, to your point, we run through the bag. If the first baseman's got his foot somewhere, it doesn't have
Step
to
on
be.
that foot.
Well, you just run through the bag. That's your bag
Sure.
to run through. And we're not playing like T-ball anymore where they have a little safety bag and they have like a first base
I
bag.
mean,
It's
I
one
don't
bag.
know a lot about baseball, but like
Mhm.
usually, like the back catcher can get run over pretty good, right?
What did you use? The bat catcher?
The back catcher? I don't know. I
Just
don't.
a regular
Just the
catcher.
catcher. They
The catcher?
The
yeah
catcher.
they niched down actually.
Okay, yeah.
After the 1950s.
They minimize it. Like,
Yeah.
I got it.
So just to become a catcher.
But they get crunched pretty hard sometimes when somebody's coming in hot.
Well,
they try and stand their ground.
We actually had a couple of kids on our team that were serial bat throwers. So that, like they get a hit and they just kind of throw the bat.
Serial.
And there'd be like the would be ducking around and the catcher would catch one in the side of the head or something like that. And I wasn't too upset about it. The ump would be like, hey, got to issue a warning. And I'm like, don't worry about where you're throwing your bat after you get hit. Like,
So you like the guy that comes flying out the dugout, like swinging his hat around?
I'll kick some dirt if I have to.
Okay,
I gotta,
kick dirt.
I gotta protect my boys.
I'm not like baseball. I'm not in.
You
Like,
know?
we only have one team in Canada, so there's not much I know about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, what was What was the question you asked Matt the other day? Who's a bigger
Oh,
name in
yeah.
Canada?
Who's become a bigger name in Canada, Drake or Wayne Gretzky?
Wow, Drake. Like,
Wow.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Matt Weiss, since he said he hasn't been there for months at a time, is still on the Gretzky bandwagon.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But I was like, after
Wow.
Toronto just won that championship.
I mean, I know Matt's gonna hear this, but dude sounds old right now. Jeez, man, come on. No, like I think after the Raps though,
Mhm.
and him just being, like, I don't know. He was an influencer, I guess. Like he was a Raps influencer. He just hung out on the sidelines for the playoffs,
Mhm.
and now like he's just all they talk about. He's everywhere.
Yep.
Between him and like Justin Trudeau, I guess right now.
For other reasons.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Our election's coming up, so I mean that right now is big talk. But like overall, yeah, Gretter's kind of like he's definitely on. Like I'm not saying he's on the decline, but he's just
Yeah, I mean he's getting old.
there's nothing to talk about now.
No.
Like what do you?
Is he
Yeah.
still part owner with the Coyotes down in Arizona? I don't know if
He coached for a bit down there and like tried to be part owner. I don't know. I think he just played the game and he was that good and that's all he should have done.
Yeah,
Mm.
agreed.
Not all players should be coaches. Not all coaches should be players. It's
Mhm.
just the way of the game. I think.
It's a great quote, man. It's a really powerful quote. Do you have something to say to that?
Well, I was just say, like, can you think of somebody in America that's as like influential, like as and like embodies the country as much as Drake does? Like, I feel like Drake like represents the entire country,
Canadian population,
right? And
now.
like, I don't think there's a single like musician at least that does that for America. I don't know. That's why I would agree with you and say
Yeah, 'cause
Drake.
we're so. I mean, United States to put us all in one cultural box. I mean, outside of being obese, I guess is the hardest thing to do, right? I mean, like the South is like totally different from the Midwest,
Right.
and the East Coast is different from the West Coast. There's different artists that are
That's probably part of it.
booming, you know.
Mhm.
But I mean, we can all agree America's obese. Everyone puts us in that box.
Yeah,
I mean, not us.
I-
All in this
I-
room,
I'll
we're
be-
fit dudes.
I'll be super honest. Yeah, I had never seen an insulin pump till I got here.
Wow.
I'd never seen one. I got to college and our captain was just like tucking it in his hockey pants for a game. I'm like, what is that, dude? He's like, oh, that's my insulin pump. Got to have it going during the games. Oh, okay, cool.
But that's also diabetes type 1 infection.
It's true.
You never know. He could have been
This is
born
true.
with
Yeah,
Mhm.
it, you know.
he was definitely him. But I'd never seen anything like that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I was-
culture shock, dude.
I was like, college was like, what happened? I saw insulin when I went down there. You won't believe this. They got insulin, guys.
But transitioning a little bit more, you know, from the hockey side to what you're up to now, like where did you get into wanting to be a chiropractor?
I mean, that started with hockey, definitely.
Okay.
I was actually, when I played in Flin Flon,
Dude, when you hear that, it's like, no, you didn't.
when I played there, I hurt my back pretty bad, actually. I got run over by a guy that played football.
Mm.
He leveled me, and my low back was out of whack for a long time. Could barely tie my skates. Like, basically the entire season, I just kind of nursed it. Made it to practice and made the games, and that was pretty much all I did for about a year. And went and saw the chiropractor for like the first time. Within like a month, I was almost back to normal.
Wow.
Like, it was pretty crazy. And then after that, I went to college and kind of decided, like, I actually started as a teacher. I wanted to be a gym teacher. Thought that was cool. Like, summer's off, we can golf, we can do all this sweet stuff. Not the case at all. So I was like, all right, I'm going to switch.
Not to bash all the gym teachers, because we love gym teachers.
No, they're
But
Yeah, we're a
not your
pro
cup of tea.
teacher podcast.
they're definitely great people. It just wasn't for me. Wasn't personally wasn't a good fit for me.
So were you like physically a gym teacher for a certain time? before
No,
you
I
realized?
I
Okay.
started in the education program, and then they put us into like a observation, like clinical observations,
Sure.
first semester of college.
Okay.
So I found out right away. I was like, this just isn't for me. Just not what I need to be doing.
That's good.
So yeah, definitely led me here. Right, I got on a podcast. It's crazy. The Backpocket.
The growth
podcast.
is impeccable.
So, no, I had low back pain, saw the chiropractor, and then when I was finishing up college, I was graduating with a degree in exercise physiology. And basically, the only place I saw myself going with it was like kind of the personal trainer, like gym direction. And for me, that just like, I grew up with, my parents worked shift, or one of my parents did. So, 6 to 6, night shift, day shift. So, like, not a lot of the time being home from supper and stuff like that. So, when I was growing up, I decided, like, that was something that I wanted to be home for dinner. I wanted to kind of have a job where I could work during the day. And, being a personal trainer just doesn't suit that. You literally work when other people don't.
Yep.
You know? So I was like, all right. And then when I went home to see my chiropractor in the summer, she was like, what about chiropractic school? I was like, I never thought of that, but let's see if I can get in. So I looked into the school in Toronto and here, and then put my application in here. I didn't even actually apply to Toronto. I was kind of set on coming here or nothing. So put my application in here, and honestly would never look back. It's been a great 2 years. It's been a grind, but it's been an amazing 2 years. So.
And you're coming in on the final half-year term? Is that how that works?
No, so I have another year and a half,
sure.
but I'm actually in my last semester of full-time classes.
Got it.
So after this, I'm class once a week, a lot more clinical stuff like that.
Sweet.
So definitely over the hump. It's nice. It's
Yeah.
been this semester's been a bit of I always feel like I got something to do. Where I have something to do, I need to do something, but it's just not as heavy anymore. It's more hands-on and whatnot. So
Sweet.
it's been a nice breather. It's been good.
I love that.
It's killer. I tracking back just real quick. Did you play center?
In hockey,
Yeah.
as a defenseman.
Okay. I was feeling some Brian Bickle vibes from you for
Brian Bickle.
Yeah.
Okay. You Blackhawks fan?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dustin Buffooglin. Best
Blackhawk
of all time.
Yeah, he's a good. I was bummed we lost him, but
Yeah, no, he's... Yeah, he wasn't famous until he played for the Blackhawks.
correct. Yeah.
He lived on the fourth line in the power play in the penalty... Or in the playoffs when they won the cup.
Yeah, he destroyed the power play.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lived in front of the net. It's
Yeah.
kind of hard to move.
Mhm.
Anyways, that's nuts.
Yeah.
That's
So I sidetracked heavily there. But I was thinking about. I just pictured him as a center, like a grinder, hustling back and forth to get down the defensive end.
Look, dude, if we have to get sidetracked and go on tangents to, fulfill our own needs on this podcast, that's what we got to do.
We can do that.
That's what we got to do, and that's just how we do it.
Mhm.
But I actually do want to get back on track.
Thank you.
And ask, first off, when you hurt your back, went to chiro, got it fixed in a month, then now you're in 2 years of school of chiropractic. Do you know exactly how your back was fixed now?
I have a pretty good idea of
how she did.
what was going on, what happened, and what I have a really good idea of what I wasn't doing that could have got me better way faster. Aside from seeing a chiropractor, there was a lot going on with my back that I could have just the gym, stretching, stuff like that. Just I wasn't doing the right things for what was going on.
Yeah.
So I was doing some stuff, but it was never the correct thing. As soon as you know the right thing, it's like a light switch. It's just
Right.
So I mean, that was for me, that was a big eye opener as to how helpful it can be, and then to think about the pain I was in. I'm talking 10 minutes of time I skates. Couldn't bend over, nothing. And then within that amount of time to be, fixed up. And I used a bit of acupuncture too. That was a big help with a lot of the muscle work and stuff that had to be done. But now that I understand all that, and I've kind of 2 years in, I have a whole different perspective on things. I have a pretty good idea of what was going on and what was happening. And stuff like that. So.
Yeah, and I think people get that. I don't know if they necessarily get it twisted, but they have kind of this rash assumption of one type of treatment and a solution.
Yeah.
Whereas you're saying, chiropractic was a huge help, but there's also acupuncture, there's also stretching.
Mm-hmm.
If you stretch more, possibly. I just like the idea of the chiro industry looking at a human more holistically.
Yeah, and I mean that's a big part of it for me. It's amazing, some of the stories or some of the things people will tell you about where they were at in their journey or where they were at with their pain, and the steps that say a medical doctor that just never really looked anywhere else is I want to do surgery on this, and then they maybe start seeing a chiropractor, and all of a sudden they don't need surgery. It's that holistic approach and looking at each person as an individual, because everyone's habits are different, everyone's daily life is different. So taking that holistic approach, but to every individual person and figuring out what they need to be better is cool. That's the fun part for me. And we're being given all these tools in school over the next over 3.5 years. I'm 2 years into it. The more tools I accumulate, the more things I can figure out, the more specific I can be and wrap my head around each individual patient that I have.
Yeah, you got a big tool belt, dude.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
We do, and the tool belt is only as big as you want to make it. So I can go to seminars, I can learn more. It's it's a constant learning curve.
Yeah.
Once I graduate, like, I know that my learning won't be done, but it's going to be where I want to learn. Like, I'm not going to be sitting there staring at biochemistry equations and, you know, stuff like that. It's going to be stuff that I want to know about, stuff that I want to learn about so that I can help people. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's like the, you know, the corny way of saying it, but it's like, I want to help people. It's cool. Like, it helped me. It put me in a place where I couldn't tie my skates. I could barely play the game I loved. And then all of a sudden, like, the next year, I had one of the best years of my life. You know, that was, and I'm not saying, you know, I got treated by a chiropractor, all of a sudden I was amazing. Like, that's not what happened, but it allowed me to unlock that potential to have one of the best years of my career. So, I mean, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
It led me here. So, I mean, that's...
Yeah. Again, back to the back pocket. I mean, you don't have to deflect all of this all the way to here, you know. Like, you're your own person.
Mm-hmm. Is the career track primarily for chiros to open up their own practice?
I mean, if you want to talk real, the moneymaker is your own business.
Okay.
Let's be being honest. Like, working for someone in this industry, I don't think somebody can't afford to pay you what you would want to make as a chiropractor out of their business unless you're like in a partnership almost. Really, the goal is, you know, to own your own or own a group practice where you have 2 or 3 in the same building or something.
Gotcha.
Which is nice too, because then if you want to take vacation or something, you're not hanging your patients up to dry for a week or 2 or
Yep.
whatever it is, right? There's pros and cons to owning your own, but at the end of the day, if you can, like, you want to find someone that you align with. And if you don't find somebody that you can work with and align with and have, you know, that same approach to every patient, then it's tough to do. So having your own business is an advantage where you can, you know, treat the way you want to treat and tackle patients the way you want to tackle them to get people better. And I mean, you have to be on the same page. And if you can't be, a lot of people do end up going, you know, out on their own.
Sure.
So.
With that being said, does like Northwestern or chiropractic schools help with that, since that is the primary business model for you guys once you graduate?
No.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
they do. The only way I feel like if you want to buy a practice, definitely. But the one thing they are working on improving is the business program, and that, I mean, it's 3.5 years. You're jam packing the human body into 3.5 years, and that's like not enough time.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, right? So to jam pack like business stuff into that too, is tough to do it right. Like, I mean, people take a 4-year degree on business. So how are they going to jam pack that into my doctorate? Like, it doesn't really work that way. So they do what they can, but at the end of the day, it's more about like the efficacies of everything. Like, you know, different cultures, be aware of this, some insurance stuff. But at the end of the day, like, creating a business model and actually getting money for that and financing and like the logistics, the reality of it all isn't really laid out for you. We have 1 class on it, I think, in like my next year I'll be taking it. So,
Wow.
So
it's kind of interesting.
It is. It's tough because it makes it tough to jump in right away.
Yeah.
So you almost got to take like an associate position with another doc and try and, you know, obviously develop your skills, develop your client interaction, but you also have to be able to develop your business side of things and learn that game too. So
Yeah.
it's definitely a 2-sided kind of thing. You got to find that balance. It's tough.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself then? Do you want to start your own practice, or is there something else on the horizon?
I'd definitely like to have my own someday, for sure. But I'd like to live somewhere smaller, maybe where I could take over from somebody older, which would be ideal for me. I mean, in those small communities, you really got to earn your keep. You gotta have a good character reputation, and you know, I figured the only way to do that is to like earn somebody's trust that's, you know, already been in the community for 20, 30 years, but they're looking to get out and, you know, want to show me how to run a business, how to do things, how to market, how to do what you need to do to survive, but also teach me a few things about chiropractic and develop my skills in that area in a sense that they maybe turn over to me in the end, which that'd be the ideal situation.
At that point, you have the tools to start your own practice in another community of similar demographic and size.
Exactly. And I mean, that's the thing too, is like, if at the end of that period where you feel like, you know, I'm ready to jump into this on my own, if they're not willing to turn over, they're like they're like, yeah, we're not ready to walk away for another 10 years. It's like, all right, you know, thanks for everything, but you know, I got to go my direction now.
Yeah.
I got to do my thing now. And then, you know what? I don't doubt I'm going to fall on my face a little bit. I mean, that's obviously you don't want to, right? But I mean, that happens.
It's a culprit for success, man.
It's a part of It's a part of life. If you haven't tried, if you didn't go out there and do it, then I mean, how are you going to be successful? How are you going to get there?
Exactly.
If you're scared to fall on your face, it's going to be tough to get anywhere. So
yeah, when you are like these last 2 years, you mentioned earlier how you're jam packing the human body into 3.5 years. As someone who has not been through that, I was an engineer and jam packed a lot of different types of engineering into 4 years, and I was able to use like my algebra, calculus, and physics class in my mechanics and materials class, and then took that to my thermo class, and it built on each other, on itself. Is that the similar style, or is that how the human body is presented to you guys? Or I guess on a flip side question, like, how is it presented to you guys?
So, I mean, we, as any like doctorate program, you have to take the basic sciences. So you're going to take like your histology, your like biochemistry, microbiology, like those basic sciences. They do tie in, like your immunology ties into your immune system, whatever. Like that kind of like on smaller bits that ties in definitely, but it's almost like a repetition thing. Like you get your general anatomies and stuff, like the basics of the human body in your T1 and T2 and T3, and then in T4 it's more of like, okay, we know the structure now, but let's take this and like try to learn how to apply it. So like 1, 2, 3, you learn a lot of factual knowledge, like flashcards on flashcards on flashcards, like just facts. But then once you get into like 4, 5, and 6, you take those structures and those things you learn, those facts, and you really try to apply it. Like, okay, now where is something going wrong? And then in like 7, 8, 9, 10, you're expected to take those things that, the facts that you learned, how you applied them, and use it. Okay, so how am I going to take this fact that I know that this person does not care about, but this thing that I did once that helped somebody for whatever reason, and like let's tie it all together with this problem that they're having. So it's a progression, I would say, of like learning basic knowledge to progressing into like applying that basic knowledge, and then to like perfecting that knowledge.
Yeah, and implementing it.
Yeah, that's at the end of the day, because that's, as much as like we go to school. I mean, you guys have seen Mark. He grinds. It sucks. It's not fun. it's terrible. But at the end of the day, like, if you come to me with a sore back or a hurt shoulder or whatever it may be, you care, but you don't care what I'm doing. As long as you go home at night and you can like sleep and it feels better, then you're all right with it.
As long as like A, you're a guy I can trust and you're a cool dude.
Exactly.
B, I know what you're doing, and my research on you is like, oh, he went to chiropractic school. Let's let him have a shot at my back. And then 3, let's see how well he did it.
Exactly. And I mean that reputation that you got to build is going to influence the people around you, right? But it is. It's going to because if, it's going to have an influence on how you live your life and what you do. And I guarantee, like, if you were hurt and, that impacted you in some way, that, like, if he gets hurt, you're going to be like, wow, this happened. This is what happened. You should go see him. And then it turns into that. So, and then by you sending, as a young chiropractor, if I get a new case from someone else and I want to, do my best by that because I know you and everything like that, it becomes one big circle. And then it becomes like a learning curve for me as a young chiropractor, but also, beneficial to the people around me. So it's a giant incline of just learning, technically, I'd say. And I mean, even when you get out of school, you're not done learning. You just keep learning and keep getting better, and it keeps changing. So
isn't that the thrill of it all?
It is. It's a little bit scary, to be honest. I mean,
we get to see Matt Weiss go through it and how much fun he's having with this industry because it's so new, and at the same time there's a lot of different ways of looking at it and taking it your own, and he's doing an incredible way of just building community and building that reputation. I mean, everyone you talk to loves Dr. Matt Weiss and therefore loves center of movement, which is pretty impressive.
Dr. Matt is cool. He's a crazy dude. He's wild. He actually played like the same level of hockey that I did and stuff. So actually, as soon as I got down here, I was like, I know that last name. I've seen it. And then I looked him up and whatever, and like the guy is killing it. Like, I don't know if he sleeps at night, but he is killing it. He's doing everything he can to put it out there, and and he's doing it his way. That's a cool thing. It's
Yep.
like the dude is doing it how he wants to do it, and that's how it's being done. And clearly, there's a following for that because the people love it. So I mean,
It's impressive, man. We just had him on the podcast, and he was talking about how he put on this Summer of Movement series with the center, and he did 17 events in 15 weeks this summer.
like the guy doesn't sleep.
Doesn't
He
sleep.
also had to work.
He also had
You
work.
know, that wasn't work. That
He's
was
got two
just him
kids.
doing his thing.
Yeah. It's insane.
This guy's wild. Yeah, no, he's off the charts, but he's a real cool dude. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
He also, and sometimes he like has time for fun too. He's like, oh, you want to play in this like outdoor hockey tournament? I'm like, where do you have time for that? But like, yeah, I will. But like, how did you make time for that in your life? No, he's awesome. He's definitely influential in the community and for us at school too. He's a younger guy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us know who he is and stuff like that, which is sweet. So
That's super cool. So what's cool is like we met him at Alter, which is like a workout place, which I know we need to dive into. This is you're a CrossFit bro, and you've been coined as that by me. That's because a lot of other people were like, oh dude, talking about CrossFit. So what is it about CrossFit that you're so obsessed with?
Is it Matt Frazier?
dude, that guy's a psycho. That guy is the freak of nature. I don't even know.
He's the best of the best.
He is. Yeah, that guy is just straight up fitness. He is.
He
He is
defines
fit.
Mhm.
No, for me it was like when hockey ended. I have like that loose screw that like I need to feed it. Like it's just the hockey intensity, like the hype of it,
Mhm.
the pregame, the postgame. That for me, like the library wasn't getting it done.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
the feeling of like getting ready for battle and going to war.
yeah,
Like, the
like,
last
it
time.
makes you feel alive. Like
Yeah.
it's just like sounds ridiculous, but like to check your pulse, like if you're like on a Friday night, if you have a game or something, and your pulse is not elevated in some way, then I don't know what's wrong with you. Like that's the stuff I lived for. So CrossFit for me was like the alternative. Like
Sure.
I always enjoyed working out, and I trained for hockey since I was like 12 years old. But CrossFit for me was like the intensity of it. Like no matter how hard the workout is, or no matter how much it puts me in the ground or how sore I am, I seem to go back. And it's just kind of like it puts you in the ground, it humbles you, and then you go back, and you keep going back, and you're like, why?
Loving putting 200 pounds above your head.
Yeah, like there's no better feeling than like crushing a big weight or like a big lift. I mean, at the when was it? So not this past summer. You guys know what the Grand Games is? It's in St. Cloud. It's a pretty big CrossFit competition.
Okay.
Now I do.
And so I was there, went on a team of 3 with 2 guys from my gym, and it was Friday or Saturday, the 4:00 workout in the hockey rink on the like ice surface. 9 minutes. Each guy has to max squat clean, 1 rep.
What?
So the tunes are cranked like this. It's just a hyped environment, and I hit like a 350-pound squat clean, and it was like guys are cheering. Like it was just the environment of like that intensity, like that fun. That looking back, like that's why I do it. I mean, I love fit. I like to eat Oreos and stuff like that. So that's part of the reason I do
Dude, I heard about
CrossFit. Everyone's heard about my Oreo addiction, but like you know, the bottom line is like the intensity of it and the accountability, I guess, of all the workouts and stuff like that. That to me is what kind of the community of it brings it back to like that sports life that I've always lived. I guess I just kind of needed that in my life to kind of keep myself straight. The mental health side of it, like, you know, it keeps you hard day of studying. A workout can sometimes, you know, it can kill that. It can
Be the release.
give you a little bit of life, and it's, you know, I've always kind of like I've stuck by it since I quit hockey pretty much. So it's been good.
2-part question. Double stuffed.
Ooh. Oh God, Oreos.
Or-
We're gonna get fired. All right, let's start
Or
this.
are you a big holiday celebration guy where like you love the orange ones they break out for Halloween?
Those are suspect. But I mean, like, okay, so funny story. I was in Target like last week, looked at the shelf, and I go, I've tried every flavor. Like, now what? So it's like, oh. Then like 2 days after that, they come out with the mystery Oreo.
No.
Oh yeah, you gotta get into it. They got a website. They got everything.
Oh shit.
You got clues, hints. You gotta. It's tough to follow along, but double stuff. I don't know if you. Okay, so recently there was a limited edition called the Most Stuff. There was literally more filling than cookie.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
It was almost too much.
I bet you it was too
So
much.
you got to go back to the double stuff isn't enough. You got to go to the mega stuff.
wow.
The ratio is pretty much perfect.
Mega stuff.
If you're looking for a plain Oreo, the mega stuff is.
So you'll never do the single layer.
Just a normal
OG
Oreo? Just an average Oreo?
No. I mean, you have to get the weird flavors like the mystery Oreo, the birthday
Spring
cake,
session,
carrot cake, red velvet. Those are all
single stuff.
Those are all the normal stuff.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you live with it for that. But like if I had to just get the plain Oreo, mega stuff for sure.
Damn.
What about like the token golden Oreo?
Wow, that's. I mean, the golden Oreo was a success when they had the cinnamon roll flavor. Oh, down to box of those one night. It was brutal, but they are so good.
Did you drink that with milk, or you just raw dogs? 3 sleeves of fucking Oreos, dude.
Raw dogging 3 lines. So, no. Like
Raw dogging 3 lines.
If you're gonna go full Sandy on 3 lines, you gotta go with a liter of strawberry milk.
Whoa, dude.
Like, I know your mind just exploded when I said strawberry milk.
It did. And then is that vanilla or normal Oreo?
Oh, it all depends on the day for me.
Okay, wow.
Like, I'm definitely hooked on the mystery Oreo right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Why
is that?
It's good.
Oh.
It's like
Do we have any ideas of what the mystery? How could we solve this thing?
Yeah.
Oh.
Scooby Doo and the gang are coming in. And
Yeah, because I'll help, dude. I'll do anything.
Pretty much. You got okay, so go on the Mystery Oreo website and look up the hint. And then you have to go buy yourself a box to try them.
Yeah.
And then you got to look at the hint on the back of the
Then
box.
you got a raw dog 3 limes.
Yeah.
Then you got to look on the back of it.
3 limes.
3 limes. Lines, not limes. Dude.
he's been riding the scooters
I've
too
been
much.
riding too many scooters.
The lime, dude. I did that for the first time a couple weeks ago.
They're fun.
Greatest experience.
Yeah.
Greatest.
Mm-hmm.
Covered a lot of ground downtown with some family that was in town.
I like a cheap price.
Yeah, it was
People
like
help me oh, wait.
$20 and you covered like 19 or 20 miles. You couldn't walk that in like 4 days.
You went that long? That's
Yeah,
a lot.
we did an hour and a half
Holy
on the
shit.
scooters. It was
That's
a good
insane.
time.
And you had a fully charged one then.
Yes, we did like the Stone Arch Bridge area.
Yeah.
That we girlfriend had some family in town, so we just.
You got to take them.
Well, I didn't want to walk. Like, we got to show you everything, but I don't want to walk
No, you don't.
or run. Running, no, that's a
We
hard
don't
no.
run here.
Hard.
No.
So yeah, we took the scooters out. It was like,
Okay, so after I rip, after I raw dog 3 lines of this mystery Oreo, I turn the box over. Is that what you're saying?
on the back, there's going to be a hint.
Another hint.
Well, there's a hint on like the back of the box, and there's hints on the website. And if you call, there's a number on the website too. If you call that,
You can get
we
another hint.
also think it's a hint. It just sounds like a random message, but we also think that's a hint too.
Mm.
Okay. So is there a community that you're part of?
We have there's me and 4 dudes from the gym are really big into the Oreo game right now.
Oh man, it sounds like just a whole podcast alone.
It pretty much could be. We could do
Yeah.
Oreo edition. I'll supply.
All right, dude. I was like, shit, we should have brought Oreos. That would be a good thing to have.
Genius. I'm thinking it's some type of like a moose track. Like it's got multiple flavors in the mystery, right?
Not that. Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. You know how like moose track has
Like the
caramel,
caramel brownie moose track,
Yeah.
market pantry ice cream,
Mhm.
fire.
fire.
Dip your Oreos in that, see what happens.
Oh.
Yo, actually, I have a good life hack for you. So when
Alright.
you dunk your Oreos, you go by hand? You raw dog the dunk as well?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Got a tip for you that I use when I dunk
Okay.
my Oreos. So take a fork, take
Wow.
the mega stuff, stick the fork through the stuff, get a
Uh-oh.
full dunkage. Hold it there, let the
Full
bubbles.
submersion
Full
Mm.
on the
submersion.
Oreo, so you don't get half mushy, half crunchy.
Yep.
Exactly.
I see what you're after
Full
there.
immersion, and then eat
Okay.
it like normal. Dude, I'm telling you, it is game changing.
If we put it on a stick, is it then an hors d'oeuvre?
We can make that happen. Put it on a stick, it's definitely hors d'oeuvre. I can still don't know how to spell it. You know what's actually funny though is I now know how to spell hors d'oeuvres. Full
I
disclosure.
couldn't spell it
Go
for
right
you,
now.
so.
HORSD''EURVES.
Ty, did he get it?
How HORS?
Or Durface.
Ors space D apostrophe. See, this is why I'm in
Everybody
joke.
get around. Declan's trying to spell again.
Okay, I got it. You went too quick on me. I'm not this good.
Sorry.
Try again.
Ready?
Yeah.
HORS space D apostrophe E URVES.
Okay. Well, so it's HOR. There's no S after the HOR.
Shit.
Then D apostrophe OEUVRES.
Wow, so there was 3 R's?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
How
Joke
you-
is still sticking.
Just use
We're
the word
good.
snacks, man.
Yeah, just use snacks.
Snacks. What is
Live your comedy.
Live my comedy.
That's
I was
amazing.
literally gonna go in and be like, yeah, I've written it down so many times in my set list that I know to spell it. Turns out I've been spelling it wrong the whole time on my set list.
Beautiful.
Hey, that's
You know what I mean. Just get.
Yeah, it's whatever. The joke crushes regardless, dude.
But transitioning here to the back end of our show where we ask our core questions. First one is, what is your average quality? Something you do well at times, other times not so well. At the end of the day, Brandt, it's your average quality. So what do you got for us?
Average quality. I mean, I don't know if this qualifies, but my average quality is probably golfing. You know, like
Golf is the game of average.
Game of average.
it is though, because you know you get out there front nine, you're like, all right, we're okay, and then like back nine, you the wheels start to fall off. Everyone.
Or you have one good hole and you're like, oh, I'm feeling it, and the next 3 are like, you're on the
Brutal.
double bogey train.
Yeah, and then usually you get to the end of the round, right? And you're like, hole 18. And you either crush your drive, or your drive's brutal, you make some weird rescue shot, and you're like right by the pin. You tap in, you're like, I'll come back tomorrow, and I'll be that good. And you come back tomorrow, and the same thing happens. I've been doing it for like 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's got to be it. Because I golf, I play hockey. It's our off-season thing.
Yep.
That's just, it kind of goes hand in hand. But am I good? No. But I can like swing the sticks and have a few drinks. Like that's never.
That's the basic requirements.
Yeah, like can you drink a beer? Yes. Can you swing a club at a small white ball? Sort of. You qualify. You can play.
And you're like, can I hit it pretty far? Yes.
I mean, if you want, I mean that's you know that could be up to you.
That's optional.
Yeah, that's optional. The drinking is like probably the most important part when
Very
it comes to golfing.
Mm.
I mean, you gotta have a few relaxers out there.
Absolutely. What's your drink choice on the course nowadays?
Ooh. Like, if we're just gonna go like safety move, Bud Light.
Okay.
Just safe, very safe drink.
Yeah.
But like, if I'm getting adventurous, like the Pink Whitney
Oh yeah.
is definitely on the rise right now. It's definitely a good, summery pink lemonade. It's a very summery drink. So hot day on the course, those go down like water.
Is it vodka?
That's pink lemonade vodka.
Yeah.
Spits between like New Amsterdam and Spit and Chicklets. Their podcast literally put out a bottle of vodka. So
Isn't that
Not
amazing?
a sponsor, but up to great things.
yeah,
Spit and chicklets.
definitely.
Killing it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they there's things they're just doing what you guys do. They just put things out there that they want to put out there. It's not unregulated, but it's not what the the news and all the big name stuff. They just put out there what people want to hear. What do they want to see? But you guys, they're just putting out there the things that things that they want to put out, and their crowd, their people come to it, and it
Yeah.
works.
Mhm.
They can sell pink lemonade vodka and make
Yes.
an absolute killing on it.
Yes.
And it's not even really about the money. I mean, to a point, of course it is. And it's great that they're doing that, but it does show the power of, like, if I were to tell you this 5 years ago, that a couple random hockey guys
Start a podcast.
and then all of a sudden could make like $1 million in sales because they're kicking every other vodka industry ass because it's a podcast.
But all they did was they put pink lemonade in vodka. We've been doing it for years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
College kids have been doing this forever, and they're like, you know what? We're just going to put our podcast sticker on the front of this.
Yeah.
And put it in a store. See what happens.
That's hilarious. And of course, there's an entire story behind it, which is great.
Yeah. Like,
Unbelievable.
Yep.
To a point. Not an entire story, but regardless.
Ridiculous.
I digress, and very ridiculous. So, next question. You had golf in your as your average quality, which is by far my below average quality. But what is in your back pocket? So this is something when pressure becomes stress, you're in a tough situation and anxiety is rising. What is like a mental attribute or something that you have in your back pocket that you use to come out on top?
Yeah, honestly, this question, like, listen to the podcast and know what you guys are about, and ever since I stared at that question, I was thinking like what is in my back pocket?
Yeah.
I never really there's always times of stress, and I just kind of deal with it and move on. I never really thought about like what in that time, what in that moment is like, what is it actually? And part of it for me, I'm like a shell guy. It's not like, I'll kind of go into my shell and do my thing, but at the end of the day, I think it's humor that gets me out of it. Like, there's nothing like, a tough day or a stressful situation that really gets you, it brings you up. Like, it's just too much. You can't handle it. But at the end of the day, like, somebody cracks a good joke, puts a smile on your face, it can change everything. And, whether it's like joking around with the boys or playing some video games or doing whatever, like, when stress starts to come down, that humor kicks in, and that's what you need, I think. I mean, everyone needs that once in a while, but, outside of my, like, normal, like, I get a little angry when I'm, stressed out, or I go to the gym, crush some weights and whatever else, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's like the humor that really picks you back up and gets you going again, I think. And I think that's the, the main one that I would probably go with, for sure.
Not taking yourself too seriously, putting things into perspective, and just literally having a good time.
Yeah.
It's all of that combined, and it's a joke. Everything's going to be okay.
And the one thing, too, that makes me laugh to this day, and it's funny because it's more, so I don't know if you guys have ever seen the meme where it's like Ben Stiller from Tropic Thunder, and it's got the words adapt, persevere, overcome. Like, those 3 words in any situation can help you. But the humor of the meme makes me laugh, because if you've ever seen that movie, it's ridiculous.
And his journey throughout that, his adaptation.
He is ridiculous. So, like, but, like, if you take that model, the adapt, persevere, overcome model to anything, I mean, humor can get me out of stuff like that. Like, that's kind of at the end of the day, like, what am I pulling out of the back pocket at the end of the day when it's, I'm going to bed, or, like, at home chilling at the end of the night, and it's kind of, like, over with. Mm-hmm. But in the moment, I think, too, it's, a little bit of adaptation. You got to have some perseverance, and you got to overcome it, no matter what it is. And in any situation, whether it's, like, issue with your roommate, you fight a little bit, or if it's, like, trying to figure out, like, where you want to get a job, or if you get fired, or stuff like that, you can apply it to almost any situation, which is kind of neat. So
we learned in football, this was a term called FOAG, and this is FOAG, figure out, adjust, and go. So that was like our motto on defense and on offense, of like, you can't be a robot out there when you're playing football. You have to figure out what formation they're in, go through your checklist, adjust to whatever it is, and go. And then you add in the woo. So FOAG, woo, with urgency.
Yeah, okay.
That's life.
I like that.
But yeah, very similar to adapt, persevere, overcome. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's freaking awesome. Every coach has a different way of saying it. That's why they're great.
Yeah.
That's why they're great.
We FOAG all the time.
Yeah, we're big FOAGers.
Mm-hmm.
Start bringing that into your lingo.
Yes. I might have to. I mean, I got a few things, like the show. You guys hadn't heard that one before, so I got a FOAG.
I appreciate how you use the show, man. Hockey over baseball, and
I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
it's a Canadian thing. I mean, that's just like a given. I mean,
yeah.
Other sports in Canada are just
irrelevant, basically.
They don't really survive. Like the Raps, that was cool for like 3 minutes. Everyone's like, I need to get a Raps jersey. You guys haven't been sick since we had like Vince Carter back in the 90s. Like,
and Tracy McGrady.
Yeah, like no one cared about the Raps. We had Kawhi for like 2 years. We win. Game over. Be another 20 before we hear about it again.
Yeah. It's still sick that you did, and that you like packed the entire streets of Toronto. Like that's sick. That's
the one thing when it comes down to like the Cup or like the playoffs with the NBA, or even if like the Jays did well, those like Toronto or like the city that it's in, they go off.
It's so cool.
It's like, look at Vancouver riding when Boston won the Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Calgary got a cup stolen from them by Tampa Bay back in 2004, a little bitter. But they, like, the streets were ridiculous. Like, people climbing street signs and trees and, like, just filled the streets. Like, the support is ridiculous when it's there. So
yeah.
It's cool.
When is the last time a Canadian team won the Cup?
That is a tough question to ask. Last team to win the Cup would have been... Last time the Flames won the Cup was, like, 89. The Oilers, maybe, in the 90s. Because I don't know if anyone has won the Cup. And,
Ty's got it.
Ty's going to tell us.
1993, the Canadiens.
Montreal.
Brutal.
You're not the Montreal guy?
Canadiens.
Terrible. my whole life just not a huge Canadiens fan. I'm at a conflict right now too. Girlfriend's a Canadiens fan.
Mhm.
I haven't even told my parents.
Oh,
That's how serious this is.
Yeah, that's tough. You think they'll take her in? Is she a good enough person? You think?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I think she'll definitely.
She passes the litmus
I
test.
think they'll waive that.
They'll overcome the
get to know her. They'll be able to overcome her, but like I didn't want to come in hot with that. Like, hey, Dad, she's a Canadiens fan. He probably would have just like, all right, yeah, we're done here.
We're done.
TV, let's go. Sports Center, let's watch that. He would have just tuned out completely, but
Oh, Dabs.
adapt for screw around. Like, we got to throw her into like a Flames jersey to get her in the house.
Yeah.
You know, adapt, persevere, overcome.
Yeah, I mean, I need to throw this jab out there. Fun playoffs this year with the Avs. Go Avs, baby.
Like,
That was fun.
come on, though. Like, what are we doing with Mike Smith? The guy's anxious. Get him out of the net. Like, he was a sieve. The guy was an absolute sieve in that series.
It was pretty embarrassing.
But the Avs, like, I will give it to them. They've definitely stepped up the last few years. They've been, more, they're not as upsy downsy. They're more consistent the last few years, which has been, good to see. Obviously, back in the day, like, as a kid, like, I've always been a Flames fan through and through, but like the Avs and the Mighty Ducks were always just like, for some reason as a kid, I don't know if they had the coolest logo or what, but always like kind of enjoyed like Joe Sakic, obviously,
Yeah,
just a legend there. So I mean, stuff like that. Like they're a good team. I mean, I was just bad. Like the coaching performance on Calgary's end of the playoffs was terrible. Not impressed.
yeah. Understandable.
Yes, sir.
And that was a challenge for the Calgary Flames.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And
Total
another challenge for us was Andrea Toppin and Craig Lyons.
Craig Lyons, yep.
Both of them. Anyone else? I think those were the main two.
I mean,
Challenged us to have you on our show,
yeah.
and we appreciate that challenge. We want to continue this train. So, Brandt, who do you challenge us to have on the Backpocket podcast?
I've got one out of left field here. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard. I mean, I heard you guys had a couple pretty big parties. The anniversary party was pretty banging.
Was a hit. We had Bochella.
Bochella, I had to miss that. Parents were in town. I was
Mhm.
pretty upset.
Yeah,
I
We
mean,
had a good time.
this is true.
Mhm.
You guys ever heard of the DJ group Two Friends?
Yes.
I'm a huge fan.
Dude.
Yeah,
Like EDM, right?
yeah, oh yeah. If you guys haven't heard of the Two Friends Big Booty mixes,
Yes.
they're like hour-long mixes.
They're awesome.
Put them on at any party you're at, you will be the fire DJ.
You'll be thriving.
Yes, 100%. I put them on at the gym at school. People ask me who they are. Like, where'd you get this from? It's just an hour-long mix. These guys put it out. They're unreal. Just two dudes doing the college party scene. They were at the Loft. I went to their concert here. It was like $25. Time of my life.
Dude, that's sick.
It was
Alright.
it was a wild night. So yeah, like I think their legit names are Matt and Eli, but Two Friends Music on Instagram. They're
Are they local?
they're cool. No, they're not, but they do come through town. Like I would say once or twice a year for sure.
Okay, so get them in advance.
So definitely,
Bring 'em on
if
in.
you can, I'd say that's your challenge.
I love that, dude.
Dude, it's a great
A little bit left field, but
Oh,
yeah.
for sure. We need more of those to
Yeah.
get us out of the beaten path.
yes,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely them. They're cool.
Yeah, because that is a challenge. That's like a reach guess. If you were to
Yeah.
say, get on Carly Nye, it's like, okay, I can just, that's easy. It takes
easy,
2 seconds.
for sure.
Mhm.
But Two Friends.
You
That's
could
what
text her. She'd probably, you text someone and then the 3 bubbles come up. She's a big phone girl. You text her, be like 3 bubbles, instantly yes.
Yes.
It'd be
Yeah.
so
She
quick.
would like anticipate our answer.
For sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
She's probably already texting one of us right
Right
now.
now, yeah.
Yeah,
She's-
she's probably tuned in.
There's a solid chance she's watching this or listening right now. So
That's amazing.
Exactly. Okay. Ty, do you have any questions before we wrap this thing up? Dude?
No, I'm currently brokering a trade to get rid of Saquon Barkley.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he's out 4 to 8 weeks now.
4 to 8.
Yeah, fantasy football.
Was it his knee or ankle?
High ankle sprain.
Mm.
And as
those
you
are
might,
long.
yeah,
Those are long, yeah.
and you might know with ankle injuries, they're tough to recover
Yeah,
from.
I've been out for 7 now.
So
Working on 8.
I'm trying to work on something to get Le'Veon Bell in the.
To
In the
get
door.
Le'Veon Bell?
Yeah. Well, my team is. Well, if David Montgomery on the Bears does not scores more than 5 points tonight, I'll go 0-3 to start the season, and we need a shakeup on the team. We can't wait for Saquon to get healthy. So
I know so little about football. I'm
gotta make
sorry.
things happen.
No, it's okay.
I'm new to the NFL. Like
Hmm.
I'm new to that whole how I went to my first NFL game 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
The Vikings home
Yeah.
opener. I was at that game. It
Just a blowout against the Falcons.
was great.
Yeah.
So cool.
Loud. What do you think of this thing?
Oh, unreal. I
You
loved
like
it.
it?
I love it.
Unreal.
I lived in Wisconsin for 4 years. Honestly, I hope I'm not offending anyone. Packers fans, so brutal. So annoying.
The worst.
Like,
We're with
fucking-
you, man.
Don't worry.
They're
dude.
so salty. Like,
God, they get so crabby when you say anything.
wait, it's like, oh yeah, okay, the Packers won. It's like they won the Super Bowl at school the next day. Jerseys, T-shirts, slippers,
Socks.
socks, helmet. Who knows what they're wearing?
Bears toilet paper.
They lose. It's like the team isn't even there. It's like they don't exist.
And they want to murder the refs.
Yeah, no, it's a ref's fault, and there's like no jerseys at school. Like they don't even know the team exists. There's no T-shirts. There's no nothing. It's like you guys are a bunch of bandwagoners.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
I love this.
Like, be consistent.
Mhm.
Like, I'm a Flames fan. Like, they first round exit this year after finishing that high. Not happy, but still a fan. Like, I'll still rep the Flames shirt. You know, like I'm not gonna.
You wear it with pride too.
Yeah, like I'll wear it. People you don't want to throw it at me that we lost. Sure, go ahead.
Go
I'll
ahead.
take it. I'm a fan through and through. But those people, it's like, yeah, I'm not a fan. What are you talking about? They win the next week. It's like they have 4 shirts and a hat. It's like,
Where'd you get those? Overnight.
where did you get a Packers cardigan on a Tuesday night? Like, what? Like, you know, just such insanity.
Yeah, Ty's not a Packers fan or anything.
Suspect.
He's just a regular old guy.
I am wearing a shirt that does proclaim Aaron Rodgers as the greatest of all time. I'm a super. I'm, a,
Which he is, dude.
I'm a huge Packers fan.
Yeah.
Like, humongous.
The guy is like a rubber collarbone. Like, you know, are you kidding? That
We don't have enough time for my rebuttal, so I'll say that.
I don't even like I don't know if it was like more of a compliment or an insult when he showed up in Canada wearing a boat like his Canadian tuxedo.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think he's doing it out of disrespect.
that's what I mean. Like, is he doing it out of like, I'm here to like, this is my tuxedo now, like kind of thing, or
I'm
That's how it
embracing
felt.
culture.
Yeah.
Mm.
is it offensive? Is it defensive? I don't know.
We'll never know. We'll never know. But Packers fans will think it's very cool, and they'll think he's influencing the world. All the
He's
Canadians.
influencing Canadians to wear the Canadian tuxedo.
Yeah.
No, it's not how it works,
Yeah,
Aaron.
no.
Aaron, this is not how it is. I'm sorry.
You're backwards.
Okay, so finishing off here, this is a time where we like to congratulate ourselves on a great podcast. We've been asking killer questions. You've been having killer responses. So good work.
Do it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But I do want to give this time over to you to ask us any questions.
You know, I'm really curious. What inspired the podcast?
Hmm.
I haven't been a listener long enough to know. Like, I know Declan's got this new comedy career. I hope it doesn't hurt the podcast, obviously.
It's helping for sure.
Okay, yeah, good.
It's a good
But
add-on.
like, what inspired you? Like, what were you guys just chilling one day and decided to record yourselves talking to each other, and then it came from that, or like, where did it come from?
It is pretty damn close to that. Where we were talking about podcasts for all of the summer going into our junior year.
Pardon my take.
Pardon my take. He had a cubicle job in Denver and I had a cubicle job in Chicago. And we're just indoors doing jobs where you can wear headphones. And we were Snapchat and texting like the inside jokes that Pardon My Take boys had. And just had laughing so hard. And then that carried on into junior year first semester. And then that next semester, so the beginning of 2017, Deck and I were like, let's go buy a mic. And we bought a mic at Best Buy at the end of January and ended up recording our first podcast in the beginning of February. And we were just interviewing our best friends that we thought had really cool stories.
Right on.
And then it turned into professors, which evolved into reaching out to people on social media. And then it's evolved into this where we take it oh so seriously, but still have the equal amount, if not more fun in every single day, just having these conversations.
I mean, I think that's what I enjoy most about you guys is like, you got couches, we just chill.
Mhm.
You know, like we're not in an office. You know, like Joe Rogan, when you watch or look at his podcast, like it looks kind of like he's at work. You know, like
Yeah.
they have like a legit like this is the studio. I like this.
Mhm.
This
It's
is
just an attic space on the third floor of a house.
that's
it.
yeah. I guess for our listeners, we are in the attic space of third floor, but it is it is what it is, and that's what makes your podcast your podcast. I think that's
That's what makes
that.
us us.
exact. That's yes.
You know what's funny too? I'm now just like thinking through like our lives tied into that story of in November of 2016. I mean, yeah, it was like election year and all that crazy stuff was going on. But dude, I got broken up with like that week. Like Tuesday was the election. I was broken up with like that Friday before.
You voted for the wrong
And
party.
I voted for Hillary Clinton. And my girlfriend broke up with me on the spot at the time. Yeah.
No way.
Crazy. Yeah.
True story, dude.
You're not even, this is a lie.
I walked in. He was getting food at the cafeteria with his girlfriend. And
I swiped her in and everything.
He paid for
Swipes, dude. College swipes are like
it. They were
anybody.
precious.
Yes,
And
they
he swiped her
were.
in, and then he got like a phone text from his buddy. It was like,
You vote for Hillary
You vote for-
Rodham.
yeah.
And she saw that, and being, you know, a big right winger, she's like, she took my phone and then texted him back immediately and was like,
Are you serious?
"Are you serious? No way I'm voting for her," you know, just whatever. And I was like, you know, I submitted my absentee ballot like a couple days ago. Like,
It's true.
I
This
voted for
this is
him.
on paper. This is real.
Yeah. And she, like, have you ever had, like, your girlfriend just, like, give you the craziest, like, I'm so pissed at you look, but not say a word?
Yeah, I definitely felt that before.
It was, yeah, it's
It's a
like,
look. You can't
it's a look.
explain
You
it.
can't
It's
explain
just
it.
there.
Exactly.
Yes,
And so,
100%. It's like they're looking through you, but like,
they're looking through you to the next move you're already gonna make. And you're like,
yeah,
and you're at that moment like trying to make the move, and you're like, that's not the right move because she knows I'm gonna make it.
yes.
So that's how it was. But ultimately, I sit down, like, within 5 minutes of sitting down, like, she wanted to leave right away. I was like, dude, I just walked in, I gotta get food. And she's like, all right. And so we sit down,
Swipe.
lays into me, and
Swipe,
she's like,
it's
this is what's wrong with this world. Why would you ever do this? I can't believe you. What would my parents think of you? No, I'm serious. Like, full on, like,
You never had this like ideological conversation beforehand, like
Year and a half into the relationship.
year and a half into a relationship. But this was like a.
Yeah,
This,
but election hadn't come up yet. You know,
No, but
like
we
when
had,
you
like-
start the relationship.
there's like rumblings. Elections go on for like years now.
Yeah, here they do.
Okay,
Definitely.
sure. But, like, it was the conversations we would have. Like, I would make some, like, uneducated take that was liberal, and it would be like a blow up, and I'd be like, oh, whatever, like, it's not a big deal. Or she would, like, tell me that she, like, would never date a liberal if I ever made, like, a side comment about, you know, something liberal. Like, I'm the person to blow off everything. Like, not push it on the rug, not a big deal. Like, I'm going this direction, you're with me or you're not.
Let it
It's not
go.
a big deal. So then she brings that shit full circle as we're at the table, like, trying to eat. And she's like, I told you I would never date a liberal. I was like, shit, I did not realize that was being held against me. Anyways, long story short, she's like, you realize I'm not dating a liberal. I'll break, like, you know we're not together anymore. And I was like, okay. And then she left. And I'm gonna call my dad, I'm gonna leave. And then 2 minutes later, this guy shows up.
And Zach's just like, he kind of like got this confused puzzle, just kind of like, what the hell just kind of happened?
All right, well,
kind of thing.
let's be real though.
Yeah.
If that happened to anybody ever,
Oh my god.
they'd be so confused.
So confused.
Like if you caught a guy in the initial shock of that,
Yeah. And that's I caught him in that face. Sat down with my food, like all happy, like because this is great food. This lunch, this cafeteria. Like if you use your swipe here, you're using it right.
yeah,
And I sat down, like, how you doing? And he just gives me this puzzled look and explains what happened, and I started laughing.
I will honestly, like, I'm trying not to laugh at it because it's obviously a little while ago, but like it might be a sensitive topic. At the same time, it's like you got to humor.
Yeah.
You got to use the humor.
Humor.
You just gotta laugh
there it
it.
is.
You gotta laugh it up, dude.
Yep.
Because I mean, did you want to laugh in that time? Probably not. But now we're sitting here talking about it, laughing it up. I mean,
Yeah. No, it is like.
I actually
those
can't
stories-
believe that
That's a real thing. That
my
happens.
friends will find that very funny at home. 'Cause
No,
we
well-
don't take our elections are not nearly the extrapolation that you guys have here. Like the extravaganza, like the extravagance of your elections here are not nearly what we have. So like, if I like tell my friends back home that like, yeah, this kid I know got broken up with over the election, they'll find that
Yeah.
hilarious.
And like, that happened. I went to class, lived my rest of my day out. I didn't talk to her until she like talked again, or like hit me back up and was like, "I'm sorry." And then like it was this whole like comeback tour at that point, and it was just like we were already kind of heading down like a bad path, anyways. And it was just like,
Don't need to explain yourself.
not a big deal.
Yeah.
But the funny part about tying into the podcast is like not only was Andrew the first person to see me in that moment, but then 2 weeks later, Young Deck has the great idea of, hey, we listen to Part of My Take all summer. We should start a podcast, but it's not sports, it's politics. And you and I just attack this as two average dudes who are talking about politics. And Andrew and I literally had a FaceTime for like an hour and a half, just like on the phone, like discussing how we would carry out this great idea. And so we like put some action items down, went on winter break for 6 weeks. I went abroad, Andrew went abroad, and we go home and tell our moms that. And our moms are like, "You're not starting a political podcast. That's the worst idea
Too small.
ever." And we were just like, that's probably true. Like,
How many political podcasts are there?
Too many.
probably
Right,
too
there you
many.
We don't
like,
need that.
and we're not even
You don't want to
politically
jump.
versed at all. And
No,
that's the like,
neither am I.
that was the part that I was missing, was like you had to be versed in it to talk about it, which I was just like, we can talk about it, But that's what we started with, was coming in February 1 with a shitty idea that our moms were like, don't do. But the one thing that stuck was, hey, we're average dudes. So that's what we started with. We just ran with it. And here we are.
From the ashes, this rose. So I mean, like, like from Declan's crash and burn relationship, basically the podcast was born.
Essentially, yeah.
The Phoenix
Like
Fly.
essentially, that's
Essentially. That's the clickbait version.
Yeah. We were a phoenix out of the ashes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just us, dude.
Yeah.
In flames.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Wow. I've never told that story on the podcast, but it was.
It needed to be told.
It needed to be told. It needed to be told.
This is time and place, and I loved it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm honored to be sitting here.
Thanks for bringing that out of me, dude.
Yeah.
I think you asked what our inspiration was. There it was. There we
Time
go.
a good day's work.
Absolutely.
But this brings us to our final question. Simple question. What did you learn today from the moment that you woke up when we're having this conversation?
That is a tough. Let me run through my day real
You
quick.
sat in
Am I-
class?
How was your day? Let's walk through it.
What did I do today? I got up, went shadowed a doc at a clinic,
Nice.
and then I hit some class. I worked actually at school, and then I hit class for the day, and then I'm here. But honestly, the one thing that I, now that I'm thinking about it, that I did learn was that, like, we talked a little bit about business and chiropractic and stuff like that. And one thing that I've always kind of been afraid of doing, or not afraid of, but just like leery of doing is jumping out there and doing my thing, right? And like guys like Dr. Matt, he's out there killing it. He's doing his thing. You guys are in here doing it, killing it, doing your thing. So if anything, like I've learned that just like if I want something, if I want to do it, just go out there and do it. Screw it. Like I've always been so afraid of change and so afraid of like new things. Pretty like OCD-ish and like my routines and I like to know where things are going. And I definitely have a hard time with the whole, like just go with it kind of motto and just jumping into things to see what kind of experience I get out of it. So if I can say I learned something today, it's like everything around me is telling me to just kind of do what I want and do what's best, obviously for me, but just jump out there and do the things that I want to do. Because I mean, we're only here one time, and you got to do all the things you want to do, right? I mean,
Amen to that.
You can't leave anything else. So
I freaking love that, dude. And I love, like, thanks for giving us some kind of in that, right? Because I love having conversations with people, but if I can inspire someone or change someone's perspective or influence, I guess, someone to think in a certain way, sure, man, that's awesome. I'm glad we brought that out of you today.
yeah, definitely appreciate it.
At the end of the day, just stick your nose in it, throw your body at it.
Yeah, sacrifice your body.
Sacrifice your body.
Look at Dex sacrificing the body up there on stage telling jokes.
Telling jokes. It's a beautiful art.
That's one more question. When's the next show? I gotta know. I gotta be there. I've been asking. I talk to Mark every time I see him. I ask him when's the next show. Like I need to know.
Well, if there's a need, I mean, I'll provide it. We'll figure out.
Okay.
I'll get a show.
Make sure
I
you
didn't
let me
realize
know.
there's a need.
I'll be there.
Yeah, if there's a need,
100%.
all right, I'll throw a show. Let's
Okay.
do it.
Yeah.
Sometime in the winter.
For sure. I mean, Cairo people could usually use a laugh. Pretty stressed out people. So, I mean, talk to Mark. Maybe we'll spitball something. You never know what we can make happen.
Okay.
Mhm.
Let's make it happen, dude.
Let's do it.
I'm all in. Well, thank you for a phenomenal podcast, Brandt. You're the man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it, boys.